Let's talk to Jerome in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Hi, Jerome.
How you doing, Hank?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Are you familiar with the book Key to Yourself by Venice Bloodworth?
Well, I'm familiar with the idea in the book, not as familiar with the book. This is a book that talks about the law of attraction in very much the same way that Rhonda Byrne does in The Secret. The idea being that the law of attraction is the law of creation. And so, for example, to transform yourself from fat to thin, what you end up having to do is think thin thoughts. And of course, you can't look at fat people.
Yes, I agree. And there's quite a bit of scripture in that book, and that's what's confusing to me.
Oh, well, I mean, these kinds of peddlers will use all kinds of things to their benefit. They use all kinds of formulas. They use scripture. I mean, it's not relegated to scripture. It's a muddy mixture of all kinds of nonsense, and then scripture taken out of context and used as a pretext for this law of attraction idea.
Okay, well, I appreciate your input on that.
You got it. And you know, Rhonda Byrne, when she talks about this law of attraction, she actually says that she transformed herself from fat to thin by thinking thin thoughts and not looking at fat people. She says if you see people who are overweight, don't look at them, but switch your mind to the picture of yourself in your perfect body and then feel it. And as a result, as she says, she maintains an absolutely perfect weight, and she can eat whatever she wants. In other words, she can eat junk food without any limitation whatsoever, but she stays the exact perfect weight. And she has gone as far as to say that the most common thought that people hold, and she said, I once held this too, is that food was responsible for weight gain. And that is a belief that doesn't serve us very well, she says. And in my mind now, it is complete, her word, balderdash. Food is not responsible for putting on weight, says Rhonda Byrne. It is your thought that food is responsible for putting on weight that actually has food put on weight. Because thoughts are primary cause of everything, and the rest is just the effect from those thoughts. Think perfect thoughts, and the result will be perfect weight. Well, at first blush, that might sound very silly. I hope it sounds silly to you, but there's a clear and present danger there as well. Just as her followers have to avoid fat people for fear of becoming fat, so they too must avoid cancer victims for fear of contracting cancer, or poor people for fear of becoming poor. In other words, you should avoid the very people that Jesus exhorts us to care for. You're not even supposed to look at them. This is just transcendent nonsense, and it sounds a lot like Joel Osteen when he says your words have enormous creative power. The moment you speak something out, you give birth to it. And Joel Osteen goes as far as to say that is a spiritual principle, and it works whether what you're saying is good or bad, positive or negative. So if your child contracts cancer, well, your words may have been at the root of that.